Wheeling in Colorado, a Jeep Badge of Honor trail, Engineer Pass, a 2-day trip via Stony Pass just outside of Creede, Colorado. And how cool was that, Ben spotting the moose?
Moose!
We took Stony Pass and headed over to the Silverton Array area. Woohoo! Stony Pass was the original road/trail in 1872 that connected the San Juan's mining operations in Silverton to the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains.
So you're saying we should drive fast past her? That's what I heard.
There are amazing panoramic views of the Continental Divide and the headwaters of the Rio Grande River on this trail. The road was originally developed for pack animals. Now it's a mild 4x4 road. We hit the trail just outside of Creede, Colorado, near the Rio Grande Reservoir, and headed towards Silverton. That is where all those famous trails are, like Black Bear Pass, Engineer Pass, Ophir Pass. The views are spectacular, and the trail is rich with mining history. We saw a mountain goat and a moose. From a distance, of course.
11,008 is what my altimeter showing.
We were up at 12,500 feet on Stony Pass. Here in Colorado, that's the tree line. That is where the trees stop growing. Being above the tree line is amazing. The wildflowers are everywhere. It's called the alpine tundra, a very delicate ecosystem, which is why it's so important to stay on the trail. Just stepping off the trail can do damage that will take hundreds of years to repair. Stony Pass is also where the Continental Divide goes through. The Continental Divide separates the Atlantic and Pacific watersheds, and it is a very popular trail among hikers.
And it's crazy because as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, all mountains, they're like triangles. They have a really like one point on the top where it's the tallest. But
Coming down Stony Pass, we headed towards the Alpine Loop, another trail that is full of mining history and a lot of old mining ghost towns. Then it was on to Engineer Pass, one of the most scenic trails in Colorado, as well as a Jeep Badge of Honor trail. It is at an elevation of 12,800 feet, one of the highest roads in Colorado. All these trails have so much history. In the late 1800s, miners started digging for gold, silver, lead, and other ore in the San Juan Mountains. They needed a way to get people and the ore out to nearby towns. These roads, left by the long abandoned mines, are now some of the most famous off-road trails in the books. And Engineer Pass is one of them. This is the trail we headed to next. It's part of a trail known as the Alpine Loop. There are multiple mine ruins to view and explore. Some are marked clearly and some are not. And a lot of these structures are in shambles. And mile after mile provides amazing views. The trail intersects with the Jeep Badge of Honor trail, Poughkeepsie Gulch. At that intersection is the most amazing little camping spot along a creek with 2 waterfalls. That's where we camped for the night before we headed back over Engineer Pass. It was awesome to be lulled to sleep by the rushing water and deer running through our camp. Anyway, I hope it was a deer. Now, as you head up east on Engineer Pass, the first several miles are rocky switchbacks. A stock Gladiator made it through fine on this part of the trail. They rate this trail a 4 out of 10 in difficulty. A stock Jeep can make it on this trail. You just need to be able to pick good lines. The whole trail is 20.5 miles long and can take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, depending on the sightseeing you do with the amazing sweeping vistas and waterfalls. You know, you could spend all day taking in the spectacular views. Then there is how fast you run the shelf road. This trail goes well above the tree line at 12,900 feet. With that elevation comes stunning views of mountains to the north. The view is so expansive at the summit that on a clear day, you might be able to see all the way to Utah if you turn your eyes to the west. Getting to that summit shelf road will test your fortitude. If you know me, it tested every fiber of my being. I am deathly afraid of heights. I have a hard time even going up on a ladder. I knew it would be tough, but at one point there were tears rolling down my cheeks. I couldn't even take my white-knuckled hands off the wheel. My right leg was in pain and my knees started to swell. I was uber tense the whole ride on that shelf road, but it was definitely worth it. the views alone, and the fact that I did it and overcame my fear and pushed through. Am I cured of the fear of heights? No. But it's a little easier each time. Plus, my son Ben was with me, and he saw me pushing through my fear. Once we reached the top and got out to take in the views, he hugged me and said he was so proud of me. I was so relieved we made it alive, I broke down in sobs. Now, if you aren't afraid of heights, it's something you're never going to understand. Engineer Pass is an exhilarating trip for drivers of all experience levels. There are many mines and points of historical interest along the route. Plus, if you finish this trail, you can get the Jeep Badge of Honor, if you have a Jeep. Plus, knowing you conquered your fears, if you're afraid of heights, was a very big plus. That shelf road is intense with the drop-offs, and it's very busy as it's a popular trail with dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides. There's no way I'm going to do Black Bear Pass.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sweating right now. Oh.